Share. Post to your profile. Share via email. Report story. Mom W. What happened? Where am I? Deku asked, visibly confused. He pushed his body up to sit with his mom's help. Inko smiled at her now awake son. You're in the hospital, dear. What? Shigaraki. What happened to Shigaraki? He tried to get off the bed but was too weak to even try. It's over, young Midoriya. Toshinori heard the question as he entered the room. We won. We won. You've been on a coma, dear. For 2 months, Inko explained. The war is over now, we're safe. Midoriya began to cry tears of joy. It didn't matter to him that he was out of commission for 2 months. For him it was worth it. He felt relieved that everything he fought for still stand tall. That's good to hear. How are you, Mom? Just fine, dear. You're awake now, so I'm okay now. She hugged his son tight. All Might, I'm alright, young Midoriya. Seeing that you are out of your coma, I am extremely glad. He changed into his muscle form for a split second. So what happened while I'm gone, All Might? The young man asked. Well, a lot apparently, especially for your classmates, but I'll let them tell you, okay? Your classmates have been extremely worried. They will probably want to talk to you about it themselves. Speaking of extremely worried, Ochako took care of you a lot, his mother uttered, smiling at his son. He began to turn crimson. W what? H how? W when? W why? She visited you every day, young Midoriya, for the last 2 months. All Might grinned at his protege, always waiting for you to wake up. Seriously, T, that's so nice of her, he replied, still red. Uraraka. He thought of her and how excited he is to see her. I'll call her, I'm sure she'd be happy to know everything is fine now. Midoriya, Iida and Mineta shouted suddenly as they once again entered the room. Hey guys. Deku greeted faintly. You really had us worried there, Midoriya, Mineta said. Indeed, but I am glad to see you finally awake, Iida uttered. Oh, by the way, I called the doctor. So the new symbol of peace is out of his coma now, huh? The doctor smiles at the hero. Deku looked surprised by the statement. He looked at his mentor and saw him nodding in agreement. So, young man, how do you feel? The doctor asked. I feel tired. That's only natural. It will take time and lots of physical therapy for you to get really better. Don't worry, at least you're awake now, right? He checked Izuku's eyes for any abnormalities. Well, everything seems normal, the doctor declared, but I will check your progress in 8 hours to make sure you're alright. If all is well, I can discharge him, if you choose to do therapy at home, of course. Thank you, doctor, Midoriya uttered. No problem, kid. I'll come back later to check on you. Blank, underscore, blank, underscore, blank. Promoted stories. You'll also like. Rewind, Villain Deku. 702K22.1K. Don't read if you don't want spoilers. Everything is spoiler in here. Read at your own will. Also, it's fanfiction. All for One breaks out. He destroys everything. He destroy. The kind villain. 21.5K 675. Villain Deku fanfiction. Izuku Midoriya, a quirkless child no more than 9 years old, has always admired heroes. Especially his idol, All Might. Though, one thing he had me. The cybernetic hero. 6K121. In a world full of quirks, Izuku Midoriya is part of the 2% that don't have quirks, after being constantly bullied by his childhood and friend and Midoriya is. I remember you, izuocha. 61.2K 920. Unfortunate timing leads to Deku moving to America on his own, much like All Might. When he returns, Class 1A gives him death glares. Was it because of Ochako? MHA reacts to Paranormal Liberation War. Company. 70.7K 1.8K. Paranormal Liberation War. The event that shook the world of My Hero Academia and turned the entire country of Japan into a lawless land. Many heroes lost their lives in Hikari. Open hollow corner bracket volume 2 Omake's close hollow corner bracket. 4.4K 142. Blank, underscore, blank, end quote. This is the story of how we all became the greatest heroes, end quote. Blank, underscore, blank. The Aftermath BNHA MHA. 8.6K 380. A My Hero Academia fanfiction. Have you ever wondered what happened to the students of UA after they left school? After they went their own ways. Many students left for. Meanwhile, the girls in Kirishima are on their way back to Heights Alliance. So did you two had a fun date? Hagakure teased. Well, mostly it was fun. Until you girls showed up and ruined our moment. Mina screamed irritated as she was holding hands with Ejiro. It's your fault for not telling us, Momo chuckled carrying her shopping bags. Besides you do it too with me and Denki, Kyoka complained, might as well get some payback, she chuckled. Ochako looked at her phone seeing that Inko was calling her. Aren't you going to answer that ribbit? And no, she hesitated before muting the volume of the ringtone. Are you really okay, Ochako? Hiro, Sue asked. It's not like you to ignore a call from Inko, it might be important. I just need time to think about things, that's all, she replied looking very down. Seeing him lying there unconscious, it would have been better if he was bleeding. But I thought it would be too easy for him. I want him to suffer. Ochako, are you there, ribbit? Oh sorry Sue, I was just thinking of something, she smiled. Blank, underscore, blank, underscore, blank. Moments later the seven of them arrived at the Heights Alliance. Hello everyone, we're back, Momo greeted. Where have you guys been? Kaminari asked looking very tense. Hey Kirishima, why in the world are you with the girls? He was with Mina on a date, Juro chuckled. Wow, congratulations man. Wait, let's talk about that later, have you heard the news? What news? Ejiro asked. Midoriya woke up. Mineta just called us from the hospital. Really? That's good news. Mina cheered looking at Uraraka. She remained silent looking at the ground. Is that why Inko called me? He's back, she thought, starting to shed happy tears. Ochako, do you want to visit Midoriya now? Ribbit, Sue asked, comforting her friend. She didn't know what to say. She wanted to see him badly, but those words Toga said back then haunted her. I don't know, Sue. I don't think it's a good idea right now. Are you sure, Ochako? I'm sure he'd be happy to see you, Toru asked. Blank, underscore, blank, underscore, blank. All right, Mr. Izuku, you are good to go, the doctor uttered. However, you still need to undergo physical therapy, so I recommend not using your power until you've fully recovered. Thanks, Doc. Midoriya grinned as he's being pushed on a wheelchair. Mrs. Midoriya, is it okay if we accompany the two of you home? Of course, Inko smiled. So, Midoriya, are you going back to UA? Iida asked as they rode a cab to Midoriya residence. He's going home first, dear, Inko answered. I'll drop him off tomorrow, she smiled. I see, Midoriya. What is it, Todoroki? I'm glad you're alright now. Yeah, me too. I have to catch up on a lot of things. Did anything interesting happen? Deku asked. Ciro laughed. We'll save the stories for when you're back at UA, buddy. Hey Midoriya, I bet we can ask Hatsume to make something that'll help you with your recovery, Iida recommended. Deku thought back on his horrible memories with Hatsume's babies. Are we sure that's a good idea, Iida? What if she breaks my back again? Deku panicked. Hatsume's pretty good nowadays. She was really put to the test during the war. I'm sure she can come up with something that will help you. Minutes later they arrived at the house and said their goodbyes before parting ways for the night. Blank, underscore, blank, underscore, blank. Hey everyone, we're back, Iida greeted. Hey, how's Midoriya? Denki asked. He's fine, he stayed with his mom tonight, but tomorrow he'll stay here. Especially since he has to undergo therapy for him to fully recover and to use his quirk as well. Finally our class is back. Mina cheered. Todoroki, Momo called as she approached him. Are we still on for tomorrow? She asked. Of course. He smiled awkwardly. Okay, see you tomorrow, Todoroki. She smiled as she proceeded to head to her dorm room. Hagakure, I win, Ojiro whispered as he listened to the short conversation. What do you mean you won, Ojiro? Todoroki is going on a date with Yaoyorozu. Hagakure laughed. Kirishima already went on a date with Mina earlier today. What? That bastard lied to us. Looks like you owe me a treat to the best caramel store, she cheered. Ojiro heavily sighed. Fine, I know when I'm beat. Blank, underscore, blank, underscore, blank. Author's note. This chapter is more like a teaser for what happens in the next chapters, so don't take it too seriously. Where stories live. Discover